Special Assistant to President Muhammadu Buhari on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, has said that the rising insecurity is no longer an issue in Nigeria, as the situation had since been controlled, irrespective of what Western nations are saying. He noted that insecurity was no longer rising while there was a control of the situation. Adesina spoke of the synergy among public relations professionals in the security sector, noting the pivotal role of effective strategic communication in managing conflict. Joining us to discuss this is Tunji Abdulhamid. He is a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, Tunji, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
We know that last week there was a security alert that was put out not by our government, not by our intelligence, but by the US and UK missions here in Nigeria, which also prompted most of their workers to be allowed to leave the country because of what they thought was a terror threat, especially at the FCT. Although before now the Minister of Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, had said that it was clickbait. And today Femi Adesina is saying we have nothing to worry about. But you obviously are Nigerian, as a law officer, and also someone who cares about your country. What does this mixed signal say to you as a person?
Yeah, I think it's worrisome when the people in authority tell us that we have nothing to worry about in fear of what is happening in the country and in fear of all the report from other part of the country and the other from abroad as well. Sorry. I think if you don't tell yourself the truth, you won't get a solution to your problems. The security situation may not be the way it was in 2015 in terms of the Boko Haram occupying space or occupying a particular area or whatever. They are operating the same in different forum and different way. So as far as I'm concerned, the government should not come out and say it's not. It's under control. It's not under control. Yes, I do not expect the government to come and tell us the security is alarming or this and that and whatever. They need to give us that confidence that there is no. But it's not for us. It's not for them to tell us what is real and what we are seeing. I bet Mr. Femi Adesina, if he's saying the security is not it should not be worried about security now, I want to challenge him to take his car without security and move from Abuja to just nearby Lokoja there on his own without any security and see what will happen and come and report to us whether we'll go there freely or and come back freely the way it is. So as far as I'm concerned, the security, though it may not be the way it was in 2015, like I said earlier on, it may not be the way it was in 2017 and 2000 whatever, where we have been told that a certain number of local governments are in the hands of certain people. Today, the manner in which they are operating is not the same thing as that of that 2015. Today, the kidnapping banditry is the order of the day now, and it's worrisome. People are not free to move from one place to another. People are not free. That is also insecurity. It's not only when you see bomb and you see bomb blast or you see people being taking over local government or whatever that you see there's insecurity. There is insecurity in the country, and I beg to disagree with Mr. Femi Adesina that there's nothing to be worried regarding the insecurity in the country. There's a lot to be worried in the country. There's no security. People are not safe. People are not free to move from one place to another. People are just. I'm not saying you can't just move. You can. People to move from one place to another. Your heart will be up, and you'll be thinking you don't even know what will come up thereafter. So it's not something we can say. There's no cause to worry. We need to worry. If you're not worried, we will not be able to get a solution to it. We need to move further and work harder.
Again, Mr. President had come out to say that we should be on alert, but then we should not panic because he believes that alert that was put out by the Western government was some form of a panic alert, and he does not want that to happen. But when the president tells us not to panic, but then be alert, let's also not forget that the DSS, in collaboration with foreign, intelligence, were able to raid some of these, terrorist cells, and of course they were able to capture at least 13 of these cell leaders, and they got some ammunitions and arms from them. if this was actually done in the FCT, and then we're going back to looking at what the US government and the UK government put out, in the same breath, the presidency is saying, oh, it's nothing to worry about, everything is under control. I wonder, one of my first questions was, why was it not our intelligence agencies that were the ones that put out this information? I know that government would not want us to also worry that things are, insecurity is rife, etc., etc. But where does this leave us as the average Nigerian, getting ready for elections, trusting that the government will keep us safe to make sure that we can come out and vote for whoever we decide to vote for on election day, and go back home and be able to sleep with our eyes closed? How serious does it show us Nigerians that this government is about making sure that they protect our lives and property? And don't forget, this is a government that came into power on the heels of the fact that they will make sure that they put an end to insecurity. Almost 7+ years down the line, has that changed? And how much work do you think the government has put into this?
I think why I appreciate the way and manner of the comments of the president and that of Mr. Femi Adesina, trying to give us that comfort, which we are all aware is not there. I think as a government, you want to also contribute to give a panic alert. And that will not be a panic alert. To me, I will see it as an intelligent alert to their citizens to be wary of wherever they are going to. So I think the Nigerian government, if they allege or the what's it called, arrest of certain people after the alert was given, it's a confirmation that something is they are not saying what they don't know. Because if I say something today and the next tomorrow you are able to see something in that regard, it confirms what I am trying to say. I think rather than just pretend that I think it's just a statement, because I know the government has started working since that alert was given, because that was why the police and other people that they were able to arrest those that they were able to arrest. That's what gives me confidence in a way that, look, notwithstanding the fact that they are denying the fact that there is insecurity in the country, they did not say, they did not ignore the threat. They decide to look for a solution into it in a way by ensuring that they've had security meetings, they've had other meetings to be able to ensure that, look, these things are nipped into in the bud. So that calm my knife in a way. In other words, notwithstanding the fact that they are denying it, yes, the government should not come and tell us there is insecurity, there's whatever and whatever. But they should also not tell us that there is no insecurity in the country or whatever. They should let us know that there is insecurity in the country, and we are going to do our best to ensure that this is nipped in the bud, and it did not happen. Not to tell us that those who gave us those information are just making unnecessary alarm or whatever. You don't just make unnecessary alarm. They will not sit down and look at their citizens being killed just like that when they saw they have the intent that this will happen, and they did not even say anything. So I do not expect them to fold their hands and say, we don't want to say this out because it may create a panic. They need to inform their people. They need to let their people know what is going on, and then let them know how to prepare for the eventuality. And I think that's what they've done.
I appreciate what you just said about the government having calling meetings. These meetings have been had over and over again. I remember when the government declared a certain parts of the Northeast a no-fly zone. I remember when a chief of defense staff had told us that we need to defend ourselves. Let's fast forward to 2022. A presidential convoy was attacked on its way to Katsina. We saw the attack, the Kuje prison break. I mean, the list is endless. Government has continued to give us lip service. Where is the action? And I guess that this is where Nigerians are seeking answers. We hear the government talk tough. They tell us that they're going to put, an end to this. Oh, we're on top of the matter. We'll leave no stone unturned. Where's the action to match it? And why should we trust them to do anything?
No, the truth is that people don't trust our government in terms of providing us security. They don't always trust them. You see, I have people in Abuja who told me that, look, as it is today, even though the government is denying it, you can't move freely in Abuja now without seeing some of those small checkpoints and all those things. Those may not be the way to kill the issue, but at least what I'm saying is that, look, they did not just keep quiet and say this is an alarm, and they just fold their hand and say we will not do anything about it. At least they are doing something to see whether or not they can bring out. But just like you said, We have seen a lot of meetings. We have seen a lot of talk. We have seen a lot of all are under control. We are going to do our best to do this and that. But nothing's happened thereafter. You see, why we are having nothing is happening is because we wait for a thing to happen before we take decision or take action. We don't plan ahead, and that's why we're not able to get that intelligent report on our own to say, or even sometimes when they get the intelligent report, they will keep it within themselves, do nothing, and expect it to happen before making comments. So I want to agree with you that look, we are the time for talk and then the time for giving assurances it should be over. We should be able to say, look, this is under control. I have not seen anything be under control here. They are not under control. Only that I don't know how to put it. Those who are committing the crime change their tactics, and that's why I'm saying that. And they are pushing us to follow them the way they are going. We are not pushing them to do anything different. They are the ones dictating to us what to do. It's whenever anything happens, that's when you see government making comments, having meetings, and going from one place to another to say we are going to nail it in the bud. I think the government should do more and not wait for. They must be proactive, not wait for the incident to happen before doing anything. Just like what the foreign countries have done now, they have the intel and they were able to tell their citizens, beware of this, beware of that, beware of this and that. So I expect the government to also tell us this area is not safe. Don't go there. It's not a panic alert. You are trying to prevent people from being killed unnecessarily. So when you tell people that, or you provide, if you know you have an intelligence report that a particular place is not safe, you put enough security in the place. But do we have enough personnel in the country to man us? Do we have enough security in the country? Most of the security that we have, most of them are with the VVIPs, and they are not even working for the people, and they are not even well equipped. Though I'm aware they mention a lot of equipment that have been bought for the government, for the military and whatever. Are we seeing results from those results? From those facilities? No, as far as I'm concerned, I am not aware the welfare of those who are fighting the war have been doubled or have been increased, or they've been that there's no much thing done in terms of ensuring that people who are fighting the war are happier than the way they had before. So I think there are a lot of things we need to do than just to come and make comments and then they tell us and give us that confidence that no, it's not there. Like I said earlier again, I dare any of the government officer who is saying this country is now safe to just on his own carry his vehicle. No, I'm not even saying he's a threat. Let him carry his vehicle and just walk on his own without being under any shield or whatever. I'm talking about without using tinted glass. Let them know that he is the one inside that car. Let him move from Abuja to either Mina or Niger or any other nearby in Abuja and see what will happen. And we will tell us whether or not the security the country is safe.
Finally, Tunji, before I let you go, what would posterity remember the Buhari administration for, especially in terms of insecurity or security generally? And as we have politicians who are jostling for our votes, what should be their priority, even as they have begun campaigning?
That is a tough one. Prosperity will remember the president for being a former general who was able to who looked for this position for 12 years and was unable to provide security for the people after gaining the power. Prosperity will remember the president for being there and just been making comments, not taking actions. The prosperity remember the president for saying, look, I will lead the war, and they're now seeing the president at the back of the war. Today now there is a complaint, there is an alert that there is an issue in the country, there is a insecurity in the country. The president decided to go to UK for medical at that particular time. Indirectly, the president is trying to say, let me just be at the place where that is safe, where if anything happens, it will not affect me. I think the president has not done well. The prosperity will remember the president for not doing well in terms of providing security for the country. He has not, as far as I'm concerned, performed to the expectation in terms of providing us with the security of the country. Because people expect more from the president, being a former military head of state, being a former general, no, it's not a former general, he's a general, he was a general, so a general. Being a general, a retired general, they expect that he'll be able to nail the issue of security in the board. But unfortunately, the president did not do better than those who have been there before. In fact, the president even did worse in terms of providing us security. So as far as I'm concerned, it's very hard for me to know whether or not prosperity will remember the president for anything good in terms of providing us security in this country.
Well, Tunji Abdulhamid is a legal practitioner. Always a pleasure to have you join us on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to meet you.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, that's it on Plus Politics tonight. But before I go, I would like to give you my take. Here's my take. Misery loves company, and there's a reason why people ignore careful examination of track records of candidates, policy positions, and even a thorough assessment of general intelligence and competence. Being able to look at a candidate and make a gut decision that they're likable and therefore trustworthy accounts to a greater degree than we would like to admit for how we choose who to vote for. The ability to empathize, or at least appear to do so, with no worries and concerns of the electorate is the truest test of a candidate's charm and charisma. Some candidates, though, fail to understand the seriousness of issues most relevant to the people. It is a disconnect typical of elitism that binds our leaders to our plight. Bad roads aren't even as a serious problem when you can fly from state to state. Floods don't really matter to you when your home is built on a hill. And insecurity doesn't touch you when you are surrounded by police, by soldiers and DSS agents at all times. It's hardest to trust a candidate that has solutions to our problems when he or she lacks the vision to see them. And that's my take. I'm Mary Anacone. Have a good evening.